What is up, everybody? Back at the E30. We're working on it again. I just filmed the video of all the parts needed. Figured that'd be a nice intermission, taking a day off from working on this thing. So now we're getting right back into it and things are getting juicy. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna yank out all this AC crap and then we're gonna tackle the brake booster relocation, the thing I've been worried about the most on this car. So to start, before I picked up the camera, I played a little game of Russian roulette here, and I actually pushed in the Schraders on the AC, and there was like a minuscule amount of pressure, held it down, nothing ever came out. I tried this one, tried the lower one, so there is no refrigerant in the system, thank God, so I don't have to move the car at all. I really not wanting to do that. So that means we're basically in the clear to just yank this stuff out. I don't even know if it's gonna be at all interesting. There's like, you know, bolts here. It bolts, there's a nut there where it screws into the inside of the car, and then it's gonna yank out this condenser. The E-fan, not sure what we're gonna do there because I can't use it without the condenser, but I don't think you need that unless you're running an AC. So I'm gonna probably run an E-fan on the car anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna yank all this stuff out. It's not gonna serve me any purpose. Yanked all the AC stuff out, and I also pulled out the oil cooler. If you guys didn't know, 325i's have a nice oil cooler, which is actually a pretty cool thing to have. Probably not necessary, but it sucks that you can't really utilize that on an M50. I mean, you probably could if you modified it, but they don't have them, and if BMW didn't design it with them, then I don't see any need to try to make that happen myself. Some residual oil spilling there, but that cleaned up the bay big time. No more crap here. Like I said, I hopped in the forums and I heard that you can get Euro brackets to mount this fan to the car without the condenser, but I think I'm just gonna run my own E-fan. It's probably better than that thing, and then you gotta figure out how to wire that into something else in the car, and all the wiring for that is super cut up and like destroyed. So I'd like to not use that at all. So I'll probably use my Mishimoto that I've had chilling from my Turbo E34 for a while. But now it's actually time to get into the cool part and the fun part of the video. We're gonna relocate this booster. So first things first, we're gonna pull the master and the reservoir off the booster and hopefully set that out of the way. All right, so I got the reservoir off. It was kind of a pain. I ended up draining the brake fluid and pulling off the clutch line. I was lucky enough able to leave these hard lines on. I had to unpop them from their brackets. You kind of got to fight with them, but I think the main thing holding it on was actually this. So I finally ended up biting the bullet and pulling this off. I actually took the brake fluid out thinking I was going to have to pull off the hard lines, but I guess it was just this. So this is off and away. Now I'm going to go in the car and do the 4 nuts that hold the master on, or the booster on, and then take the clevis pin out. It's gonna be really hard to get a camera in there to see what I'm doing, but you look up at the firewall and you'll know the 4 when you see them. And then the clevis is just some goofy pin, and you'll also know how to get that out when you see it. So I will come back to you guys when I have this thing out and we can see what we're working with. All right, we got the booster out. It's chilling here. Those are kind of a pain in the ass to get to, all the nuts. One of them wasn't even in, so I'm guessing when the guy did the manual swap, he probably changed the pedal assembly, meaning this had to be unbolted. I don't really know, but one of them was out, luckily, because that was the one that I don't understand how you could even get to it. And I think that's the same one that when we drill over, you can't tighten it anyway, because I think there's a point somewhere in here, and there goes my master, or my booster. But yeah, I heard some people say you could do all 4, and I've heard other people say one of them can't go over because it gets in the way of something. And I think it's actually this one right here, because I'm feeling there's like a metal brace right there. But yeah, now I'm gonna get a ruler and try to measure these out as precise as possible and then start drilling. This is the part I'm nervous for because there's not a ton of room for air here, so. And now comes the butchering. So all the holes are there. I think I did a pretty good job. They look pretty good to me. But the booster hits like right here. So we're gonna take the old angle grinder and kind of just make some incisions and cut out this corner and try to do it cleanly. But we already know it ain't gonna be clean. So wish me luck here. I heard some people use a hacksaw or a sawzall. I feel like an angle grinder would be easier and more precise, but we'll see how this goes. Kind of nervous. This whole thing is nerve-wracking. I really don't want to mess this up. Oh God, this is just a disaster. I can't even see where I'm cutting. I went super high. Oh man, well there goes the old hole, but jeez, I don't even know if that would have gotten me any more clearance. I guess we'll mock it up and see. But geez, I knew that would be brutal. I was just getting pelted with metal. Alright, so we need to pull a little more off, a little lower, if I can. Jesus. Alright, so we need to pull off some right here. So let's do that. Alright, now let's see where we're at. It's like I'm just destroying this. But you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. I think we still gotta go a little more. See, now I don't know if I'm just getting stuck on the brake pedal with the clevis or if I gotta pull more off. I'm just gonna keep pulling more off the bottom. Can't hurt, right? I'd say that's a pretty nice job right there. Now this should go in. All right, yeah. Now I'm gonna go on the inside and move the brake pedal out of the way and then we'll see. Booster mounts, goes all the way in and it lines up as it should with the brake pedal, meaning it's right in between where it's used to mount and the actual pedal, so it fits in there perfectly, which I believe is what it should be doing. So it seems like it's hardly moved over, but I mean, I guess we'll find out. I might have to grind some fins on the intake, people say, but that's ½ inch. So now I'm gonna pull it out and then we're gonna head to Zach's and get the clevis modified, and I'll go through that when I get there. But somehow when I was inside, I accidentally pushed the clutch and I blew out the slave cylinder. So now I need a slave because it actually blew out not only the rod but like the entire piston and internals. I don't know how I did that. Kind of pissed off because I didn't need to do a slave and now I need to do a slave. So oh well, could have been worse. So I guess I'll just do that while the engine's out because that's way easier. But yeah, I'll see you guys at Zach's. This is my finalized job here. Pretty ugly, pretty hacked up. I'm gonna spray this metal so it doesn't rust, but yeah, that's pretty ugly. While I'm in there, I decided I'll swap out the throttle cables really quick. So here's the E30 one, and believe it or not, BMW is very nice and has the exact same mounting on the firewall as the E34. It's literally like it was made to be. It's the exact same thing here. So this is the E34 one. You need that bend. This is the bracket you need as well. I'm not gonna run the cruise control. I'm sure it could mount, but I don't know how the module and all that stuff would work. So I'm gonna just pull it out of this bracket here. I don't know how to do that, but I'll mangle it out, and then I'll have the bracket and the E34 one to pop in, and then I'm gonna delete the cruise control that's on the car, and then we'll have no cruise control wires, and we'll have the proper throttle cable, because that's something I could imagine myself forgetting, and then have all the booster back in, the motor in, and then be pissed off. So all right, I got the throttle cable in, hooked up. Everything literally plugs right in. So now I got the M50 throttle cable ready to go. Gouged some of my thumb, not fun. I'm sitting here waiting for him to get off work. I figured since we're getting the engine bay all ready, let's throw in the Condor mounts. So we got some instructions here. Driver's side mount has 2 studs. Passenger side mount has a bolt. All right, so looks like this is the passenger side because it's got a bolt in it, not a stud. So that's cool. And then I guess the angle is like that. All right, cool. Yeah, well, that's a good thing they came with instructions because I would have never understood that. I got the mounts in. I have to leave them loose because I've heard people that say they don't line up, but those people don't leave them so that they can move around. So obviously you want to be able to manipulate them when you're putting the motor in. This one, since it has a bolt, has to come out anyway. So I just got them sitting there, just kind of, you know, chilling. They don't need to be there, but I might as well just call them installed for now. I decided to stretch the legs on the old 540 and take this, but you know what that means? There's a nice tunnel along the way, so give you guys a nice little tunnel sound clip. Oh yeah, that is too good. I should have went into third for you guys. I apologize. That was fourth gear, but nonetheless, that was ripping. All right, so we're at Zach's. He was nice enough to get me some steel, 1/4 inch, which is what we need to add onto this clevis. You can see it fits right in between. So what we're gonna be doing is welding on another equal length part like that, but spaced 1/4 inch. That way it's basically gonna be like a tri-fork, and that is what then connects to the brake pedal. He's gotta install heat first because there's always gotta be a task here before I get some work done, so. Oh, that's a miserable sound. Now that's looking good. So now we gotta tack around it. Oh, the welding helmet's going on. Time for me to stare at welds. Oh yeah. So we went with a staggered setup here so that he could get all these welds along this corner here, and rather than just like a full piece and then you could only weld kind of around. So that will be stronger in the long run. Now we just got to drill it to match those and it's all set. All right, and we're back. So here is the final product, all drilled out, fabbed up, looks fantastic. Huge shout out to Zach. Thank you, Zach, for all the goofy work I have you do for my cars. But I'm stoked. So now this thing will thread right back on the booster. And then as you can see here, we have it extended so that it should now reach the new spot. Or I guess it's not a new spot, but now since this will be sitting in a new spot, this will reach its old spot. So it's as if it, you know, never moved, but it did move. So I'm gonna go hook everything up, slide this in, and see how she works. And she is in. I got everything hooked up as it should. The pin went right through. So you know how it was at 3? I ended up having to chop the original far one because you couldn't actually get the clip on it that holds the pin in place. So I had to chop that. Other than that, slid right in. And I only put one bolt in because I'm not going to I'm not gonna put all this completely together until I have the motor in and I test fit the manifold, because if I didn't move it over enough, I gotta pull it out anyway and re-drill, and I will not know until I have the motor in. But I followed the instructions. It should be all good. Might have to file down some of these fins. That's not the end of the world. But yeah, the final test will be when the motor's in. But other than that, that is a modified stock brake booster. That just, to me, seemed like a better, easier, cheaper solution than, you know, sourcing a booster from an E21 or a 944 or whatever. So I'm happy. I'm stoked. So we made some good progress today. We got the booster situation taken care of. Got the mounts in. Got the AC out. I got all my degreaser and brake clean, so I'm going to clean up these lines, try to clean up some of this area, make it look a little bit better. Other than that, I already started filming today, but the next video, we're gonna be doing all the refresh on the M50 here, getting it ready to put in. You can see I already got the motor mount arms on, which is awesome. So we're moving along. I'm stoked. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.